Astra Malorum's Easter egg has officially been beat within 6 hours of the map coming out. And this map was a very interesting DLC one, to say the least. Whereas Ashes of the Damned was the largest zombies map that we've seen a while, especially for modern zombies. I would say Astra Malorum is probably the smallest zombies map we've seen since Black Ops 1 Shangri-La. And it's quite funny because part of Shangri-La's temple entrance is even in the map, and it's literally based in Mars. So let's obviously talk about the pros of this map. My number one biggest pro of this map is by far, this map is one of the most beautiful maps in zombies, period. Let's just say that off the top. The skybox is absolutely gorgeous, and this isn't no scenario where it's like the tomb where the Revelation skybox is looking a little bit more better. No, I'm telling you, this is better than the tomb. This is on par with Revelations, if not better than Revelation skybox. I think this is one of the most gorgeous zombies maps that you can play, and it's very interesting because I kind of like how they went from a very large boss fight that took around 8 hours to complete the whole Easter egg, or 12 hours, sorry, all the way down to a smaller zombies map that's 6 hours. So it's really nice because with Black Ops 7 here, you kind of get the mixture of all of it, and it feels great. And I'm gonna be honest, man, the Mule Kick addition to this map definitely helps out a lot. I think Mule Kick is definitely a massive W because you want a bullet weapon for taking out the bosses and even for the boss fight. You want either a ray gun or ray gun Mark II, and then obviously you also want the new Wonder Weapon. The new Wonder Weapon is absolutely sick as well. One of the most aesthetically beautiful Wonder Weapons, and I think Black Ops 7 so far is absolutely killing it when it's coming to Wonder Weapons, and so I'm really excited about that. I also like what they do with the lore of this map. They take a lot of the elements from Shattered Veil and then kind of explain a lot of the references that you see in Black Ops 7 as a whole. It's really cool because you literally travel to Mars. I kind of wish that we got to travel to more planets. They kind of made it seem like, oh, we could have potentially gone to like Neptune or Venus or even Saturn. Like, even though we are on Saturn, like actually right in the planet itself. And I think that's kind of where I don't really understand why we were just on Mars in general. But regardless, a lot of the Easter egg is very quick as well. There's not a lot of steps, and a lot of the steps really sort of surround the Shangri-La lore, like I said, with the Mars stuff, and also the Shattered Veil step. I've heard a lot of people complain that it's just Shattered Veil with rocks and lasers, which I kind of find funny, but I can kind of understand where that complaint is coming from. Now, I want to get to one of the most important aspects of this map personally, and for me, that is actually the boss fight, because I think the boss fight is quite unique. However, it is very different than what we saw in Ashes of the Damned, whereas this zombies map is more of a standardized boss fight. Ashes of the Damned really was its own unique thing. I like that it's the skull that we saw right from the beginning of the intro cutscene. However, the one thing I dislike about this boss is that it kind of just ends up becoming a bullet sponge later on. You basically just have to shoot the rock, find its crit point, and then go through the next phase, shoot it again, find the crit point, go through the next phase, learn its attacks. And it's pretty easy. I mean, I died on my first attempt of this boss simply because I just didn't know that I was entering in the boss fight, and I didn't even know exactly, like, what was going on in general. Regardless, though, the ending cutscene is very interesting. You kind of, like, end up in hell, I guess, at the end of it, and so people are speculating that, like, the next Zombies map, because of that, is going to be the remake, the Alpha Omega. And I do want to say, DLC 1 and the launch of Black Ops 7 has been really good. I'm excited also for the Curse Mode relic hunting as well. The one thing I'm nervous, though, about is that I really hope we do not get a replay of what happened back in Black Ops 6, where this is the cutoff point, right? From DLC 2 onwards, this is where we potentially might be getting some absolute dog water maps. And I really hope Black Ops 7 is now able to finish strong, because I genuinely believe that this was an incredible start for the DLC season. It's giving me flashbacks to last year with Citadel Daymore and all of that, and I really hope we do not get another scenario of Black Ops 6 where DLC 1 is great, then DLC 2 onward really kind of drops the ball. But so far, I think there's a lot to love with this map, and I really like that it's designing itself completely different from Ashes of the Damned. Like, you don't even need to use the Tessie on this map. There's a way you can get, like, the DG2 turret from Tessie, but you really just don't need it as a whole. Now, some of the complaints I have with the map, obviously, are the Wonder Weapon is a single targeting Wonder Weapon, meaning that you basically are going to be spamming the Wonder Weapon a lot in this boss fight to do a ton of damage, which is something that I don't necessarily like. I think it's very good, especially against the Oscar, but I'm going to be for real. The Oscar, the new boss enemy, even though it's cool, even though it's unique, it's crazy that it's got me preferring the Zersa from Ashes of the Damned because this thing is an absolute bullet sponge. This thing does not die. It doesn't matter what weapons you have. I really hope Treyarch ends up nerfing this thing because it is ridiculous, especially because it can roam around the map. It spawns in a lot. You need it for the majority of the Easter egg steps, even to get the Wonder Weapon. Like, you need to have it spawn in like 4 times to even get through to the Easter egg. And even though the Easter egg is short, I know some people might see that as a positive thing. I felt like it was a little bit too short in this map. I kind of wish that there were, like I said, more steps involving like the different planets. Like, they really kind of tried to harken back to Voyage of Despair with that Easter egg and swapping the planets and doing all that type of stuff. And I kind of hate to say it, but I feel like Voyage of Despair did the planet step better. They utilized more of the planets within the actual Easter egg, where in this map, like I said, it's not really certain as to why it's just Mars. Regardless, though, I think traveling to Mars was really cool. I think the whole Shangri-La Mars reference was really sick. I just really wish we got to see more of it. That's really all I'm complaining about here, because I think everything on this map was a great addition. Like, everything that they added back, and even like bringing back a bunch of the old stuff like Lightmend, Shatter Blast, like all these old stuff from Black Ops 6 so that we aren't getting copy and pasted within the DLC cycle. I think that was a great W with this. However, though, it gets me really worried for DLC 2 because they're probably not going to add a new perk. They're probably not going to add a lot, and it's going to be a very dumbed down Alpha Omega remake, which hopefully this doesn't happen, but I will say it is definitely worrying considering that we saw the same cutscene. Obviously, it's very reminiscent to what we saw in Ashes of the Damned. So regardless, for me, I think Ashes of the Damned, like I said, is like a 7 out of 10. And I would say this map is just slightly worse, coming in at a 6 out of 10. There's a lot to love, though, with this map. I think that's the biggest thing with this map is the map is beautiful. If you like playing beautiful zombies maps, this is for you. Like, this is like a modern day Shangri-La is what I feel. It's got difficulty, it's got challenge to it, it's got some really good traps, but the thing is that if you're looking for an incredible Wonder Weapon, I think I definitely prefer the Necro Fluid Gauntlet a lot more, because you know that the high round strategy for this map is definitely going to be utilizing all of the Wonder Weapons, and a lot of, or sorry, not all the Wonder Weapons, all of the traps. The Wonder Weapon may be just for killing Oscar, but outside of that, that is pretty much it. There's definitely a lot of side Easter eggs that I think this map still has yet to discover that I think are going to be very interesting. But it is interesting as well that this map is kind of like the Tomb, but just done slightly better in terms of its size, in terms of the Easter egg length, even in terms of the boss fight kind of being a bullet sponge as well. And I definitely prefer this map over the Tomb for sure, but I don't know how the rest of the DLC cycle is going to go down within the rest of the game. But honestly, Astra Malorum was a nice change of pace from what we saw from Ashes of the Damned, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the Black Ops 7 story kind of moves along, because in Ashes, we saw Maya and Tank Dempsey kind of get their souls back. In this map, it was Gray and Nikolai, and so the next map is kind of teasing it to be, I guess, Takio and Carver, and then the last map being Richtofen and Weaver. So it'll be very interesting to see, obviously, because again, there's one more DLC after this, so how is that going to play out? Also, I think the Super Easter egg is going to make these maps a lot more enjoyable to come back and play. And honestly, I think they did a pretty good job for DLC 1. I think this is honestly a lot better than a lot of the stuff that we saw in Black Ops 6. And I gotta give Treyarch credit here for at least adding in a lot of unique aspects. Sure, there's a lot of brought back enemies like the Shattered Veil, toxic enemies in the boss fight, the shock mimics. But I do have to give credit for the Oscar. I think the Oscar is really cool. It's a literal Dalek robot, if you know that. Shout out to homie Mr. Dalek JD. But genuinely, I think this map was a good DLC one. I know a lot of people might say that this map was infinitely worse than Ashes of the Damned. And in terms of uniqueness, I can definitely agree with you on that. And honestly, the boss fight is not even remotely difficult comparatively to Ashes, especially now that they have reverted the Ashes of the Damned boss fight change for Curse specifically, which gets me really excited because I really love the pre-patch boss fight. And now that we have that on Curse and we have that with all the different relics, that to me is going to be absolutely incredible. Honestly, I just kind of wish that they added a little bit more of this map. That's really all I felt like that was missing. Like a little bit more uniqueness in terms of like maybe new kill streaks, new equipment, new stuff that wasn't just brought back from another game, something that really added to this map. Because especially when you go into this Mars area, like there's just a random corner where they got like an astronaut suit, a toilet, a lava lamp, and like a flamingo. And you're just like, what is this? Like, it just felt like so much of the Easter egg within the actual map was missing. And a lot of the Easter egg steps were also very arbitrary. However, though, I do have to say, if you are a Zombies music Easter egg lover, this was the first time we got an A7X song since Nine's Mad Hatter, which is absolutely ridiculous as well. And they do such a great remix to Paradolia in the side Easter egg where you get the DG2 turret, and that's kind of like leading up to what we're going to be seeing with the Mars boss fight on this map with Shangri-La. And also, apparently a lot of Alpha Omega music was teased on the gramophones, which basically confirms we are going to be getting a Nuketown map in Black Ops 7. I am personally not excited for that. I think that is going to be absolutely awful. But genuinely, this map is probably going to be a pretty easy round 100 as well, just considering all the traps on this map are really good. The Wonder Weapon's really great as well for the Oscar. But I think there definitely needs to be a couple of nerfs against Oscar specifically. But the boss fight, it's not too bad. It's a bunch of rocks, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think about this map. This is as the most honest review I can give you because I think this map is good, but it's definitely nothing you haven't seen before.